how to make your ceramic coating last.
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
And this is the DIY Detail Podcast. Today we're going to go into strategies on how to make your ceramic coating last the longest amount of time possible, how to get the best from your investment into that ceramic coating.
Ivan, there's DIYers and enthusiasts, then there's someone who's had a ceramic coating installed on their vehicle professionally. What do they need to know, whether they did it themselves or they had it done for them, about how to make this coating last? Either way, it took time, effort, and financial resources for this to happen.
Yes.
Shouldn't it just be good forever?
No, just like anything, it requires a bit of maintenance. Now that maintenance is as simple as washing and occasionally decontaminating the vehicle. And a lot of people, coatings are miscommunicated to them, if I can put it that way, in the sense that they're told that this is a force field and you'll never have to wash your car again. Thankfully, those things have gone away. People realize now that yes, you still need to wash a coated surface. It's going to be much easier to wash. It's going to be much easier to maintain, and you're probably not going to have to wash it as often, but you still need to wash it.
Hey guys, speaking of ceramic coatings, they are so easy to install. You just want to polish the paint like I'm doing here, and then apply the ceramic coating. If you want to do that, we have a 25% off sale right now in January 2026. So for the 3-year, the 5-year, the 8-year ceramic coating, limited time sale, 25% off at DIYdetail.com. And now, back to the podcast.
The other thing is you need to decontaminate it once in a while. And people are afraid of decontaminating their coatings, and then they have this impression that their coating has failed when all it is contaminated.
How often should I wash a coated car?
I like to do it once a week or once every 2 weeks. Basically the same as you would regularly wash your normal vehicle. Now, if you live in an area that doesn't have rain, snow, and slush, then you might be able to stretch it out to 2 or 3 weeks. If you're in an area that has all this fun stuff on the road in the winter, you might want to wash it a little more often. Because basically what happens is if you don't wash it often enough, and just like your regular paint, whether it's coated or not, to maintain it, to give it life, to keep it around as long as possible, you need to maintain it. And the basic premise of maintenance when it comes to paint or coating is keep it clean, because that dirt that's on it slowly works its way in through vibration, through hot and cold cycles, and grabs itself into that paint or into that clear coat, or in our case, into the ceramic coating. And the ceramic coating is a lot more resistant to it than your paint, but it's still affected by contamination.
We have a product called Rinse Less Wash. It's a concentrated formula, very hyper concentrated actually. You just have a little bit of Rinse Less Wash and then you dilute it in water. So it's 256 to 1. It's 1 capful per gallon. There's a couple other dilutions, Ivan. I'll let you take it from there. The question is, do you use Rinse Less Wash for a coating or Incredible Suds, which is also a concentrated formula, right? You just do 1 capful in your 32-ounce foam cannon. But I'm talking about the newbie out there who just got their car ceramic coated. They may not have all the toys yet. Like, do you want the foam cannon with Incredible Suds to foam it on the car? Is that going to be a better wash? Or do you want Rinseless Wash?
Either one will do the job. Pick the one you enjoy to do the most, or the one that you're equipped for. If you don't have a pressure washer and a foam cannon, Incredible Suds might not be the easiest thing to use. Whereas Rinseless Wash then becomes super easy because you don't need a foam cannon. You don't need a pressure washer. And if you're wondering what a Rinseless Wash is, now's the time to subscribe to this channel. And you may have seen a lot of our content and think you're subscribed. You may not actually be subscribed. So check down below, make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell. And if you like this video, you can even hype the video. So that being said,
I think all of these are free. Those options are all, those don't cost anybody money.
Every single one. YouTube has had this great sale going on for a while where you can subscribe to 20 channels if you want for free.
Can we just talk about decontamination? Like, do you decontaminate a coating with the clay towel? Is the clay towel too abrasive? I know we want to avoid abrasives, right? Because you could like use the abrasive nature of a polisher with our buffing liquid, which is the gold standard polish. And that's how you can remove a coating or abrade a coating, right? So we're always talking about people not wanting to use abrasives on coatings because that can actually damage or remove the coating. So what is safe in the decontamination process? How often do I decontaminate?
So first of all, why are we decontaminating? Contamination, like I mentioned, when you're washing, you're not getting all of that embedded dirt off the surface. There's some of it that is stuck to the coating or to the paint. So we need to mechanically remove that and also chemically remove it. Now we have 3 different options when it comes to that. First of all, you have all clean. So All Clean is our all-purpose cleaner, very concentrated, and that is for removing oils and greases and things like that. Next, we have iron remover. Now, a lot of people are afraid to use an iron remover on their coating, thinking that it's going to make their coating go away. Trust me, it won't make your coating go away. The only way to remove a coating is through abrasion. So we're not removing the coating, we're enhancing it because we're removing the contamination. In conjunction with the iron remover, we like to use our quad fold decontamination towel. The reason for that is some of those embedded contaminants need mechanical agitation or mechanical removal, and a chemical is not going to remove everything. So that's where that comes in. And our quad fold towel is non-abrasive. So it's not a clay bar, even though we call it a clay towel because that's the industry standard name for it. There's no clay involved. There's no abrasives involved. It's not going to damage your paint if you use it per our instructions. Use it the way we show you how to use it. And we have hundreds of videos showing you how to decontaminate a vehicle.
Ivan, when I first started detailing, I would use like half a bottle of iron remover on a car, and I would just spray it willy-nilly everywhere, let it dwell, then go in with my clay bar. And even with water spot remover, I might be tempted, because that's part of our decon stage, right?
Yes.
Iron remover, one spray on the towel, one spray on the paint. Where you spray the iron remover, you put the towel, and you work that panel. Then you flip the side of the towel. We've said this a million times, but this might be your first time. Then we rinse the paint. Then we use water spot remover. We spray it on, and then we agitate it in with a rinseless dampened towel. And then we rinse it off, right? That's the 2-stage decontamination process that we recommend.
Right.
I used to, when I first started detailing, just spray iron remover everywhere. And sometimes I didn't even use the clay bar, and I was like, I'll just rinse that off, and that'll be a decon. So is spraying on and rinsing off the water spot remover, the iron remover, what is that doing versus the agitation steps?
So that is effectively wasting chemicals. Yes, it's going to do a little bit of the work, but you need that agitation. You need that little extra step of actually rubbing it in. The water spot remover. So first of all, the iron remover, and the order that these are done in is important. If you start with the water spot remover, it's not going to do anything. You need to have greases and oils off the surface before using an acidic water spot remover. And there are companies out there that will sell you an acidic shampoo and telling you that it's decontaminating the surface. It's removing a minimal amount of those accumulated minerals on the surface. It's not removing everything. Same thing with iron removers, or some will use an alkaline shampoo. Again, those pre-cleaners, they're okay as a pre-cleaner. You still need to do a actual contact wash. And to properly decontaminate with the iron remover, use the perforated synthetic decontamination towel or the quad fold towel to pluck those little iron particles out of there. And now the iron remover, all it has to work on is the rust stain. It's not actually trying to remove that iron particle because iron removers do not dissolve iron. Again, it's a term we inherited. It's an industry standard term to call it an iron remover. It's more of a rust converter. So just like the clay towel has no clay in it, the iron remover doesn't remove iron. It removes stains caused by the iron particle. But the iron particle, if you don't mechanically remove it, is still going to be there.
Right, because when you use the iron remover, especially you'll see this on white paint, you'll see the purple tracers and you'll be like, oh, it's doing the work for me.
Yeah, you could put a rusty nail in a little container of iron remover, and all it's going to do is remove the rust from the nail. The iron itself, the nail, is not going to go anywhere. So it's not dissolving rust. It's not dissolving iron. It's dissolving the rust. Now, water spot remover, the same thing. We can spray it all over the vehicle, and it's going to do about 50% of the job. But that little agitation, taking a few seconds just to agitate it in, is going to dislodge those minerals. And then when you rinse it, they're going to be gone. And that is a proper, true decontamination. So we do a 2 steps, but 3 processes. We do the iron removal decontamination with the mechanical decontamination at the same time. Then we do a mineral cleanse using the water spot remover.
Can I take my ceramic coated car through the car wash?
Yes. Now, there's a caveat to that. If it's a touch-free car wash, go for it. If it's the type with a brush, you are going to slowly degrade your ceramic coating. Now, If you accidentally drive through one of them once a year, maybe not that big of a deal. And there are some that are better quality than others. So that is also something to consider. If it's the type of car wash that is pumping a car through in 3 minutes from one end of the tunnel to the other, that may not be the highest quality wash that you're getting. If it's taking 5 minutes to go through the tunnel and you're going through slower, now the brushes have time to be cleaned off before coming back around to your vehicle. So there are some brush washes that actually are not that bad for your vehicle. Are they as good as a hand wash? Never. And a hand wash is something that's simple to do and it's fun. Once you get into washing your car yourself, you'll find that it's not as difficult as people make it out to be, and especially if you're using rinseless wash. It can take under half an hour to wash your car. It will take you longer to drive to the car wash, go through the car wash, come back and get all those last little drips and things that the car wash missed, and you'll have a lot more fun doing it.
What about the idea that a ceramic coating should never have a topper on it, that it should just last the amount of time that the bottle says? Like, should you use a topper? Should you not? And I guess, what's the reasoning for using it? And by topper, I mean a drying aid, right? Something that adds gloss, something that adds slickness during the dry, and that usually gives you more protection. I often wonder about that. Do you use the topper? Do you not? What's your answer, Ivan?
So yes and no. First of all, we have 4 drying aids in our system. One of them simply is rinseless wash, and that's going to leave nothing behind on the surface. So rinseless wash is a great drying aid. It provides that lubrication, provides that safety that you need for your towel going across the surface, but at the same time, it leaves nothing behind. So if you're the type that says, I want my coating to shine through and just the coating, great. Rinseless wash is your drying aid of choice. Next, we have C6 Mist, and C6 Mist is a drying aid first and foremost, or it's a rinse aid, because there's 2 types of drying aids. There's one that you spray and wipe. The other one is you spray and rinse. Excuse me. C6 Mist can be used both ways, as a spray and rinse or as a spray and wipe. But C6 Mist contains gloss enhancers. It's not going to leave any long-term protection. Then we have Quick Beads. Quick Beads is our spray and rinse. So spray it on the vehicle, rinse it off, dry the vehicle. 3 to 6 months protection if you have nothing on your car in terms of coating. If you have a coating, it's just going to give you additional gloss, additional slickness, and make that drying safer. And finally, we have NV Ceramic Detail Spray. Same idea. That's a spray and wipe. So spray it on, dry. It's going to add a little bit of protection and at the same time, gloss enhancing, slickness, etc., etc. Now, do you need them on a coating? No. Do you want them on a coating? Yes.
Well, I wonder about that. Now that I'm putting myself in the shoes of the beginner, what sounded like a simple process, get a ceramic coating, life is good. Now I'm feeling overwhelmed. And you're the king of efficiency and simplicity. So for the one or the million out there who hears this and they're like, gosh, that all sounds like a lot. I'm almost at this point of I'm shutting down. My nervous system is shutting down. It was just too much. I'm excited about my ride, and now I don't know what the heck to do. Maybe I'll just wax my car. What's your advice?
It sounds more complicated than this. Basically, what we're saying is
Ivan, you're battling the flu here or something, right? You're on the tail end of it. Yeah. So we're rooting for you.
There'll be the odd cough in here. But nonetheless, what we're saying is this isn't any different than maintaining your car on a regular basis. Whether your car is just clear coat or it's single stage paint or it's waxed or it's ceramic coated, they all require the same type of maintenance. That is keeping it clean. And the reason we advocate for a drying aid is to make your drying faster and easier. Yes, you're adding a product here, but it's actually making your drying faster, easier, and safer. So it sounds worse than it is. It's no different than maintaining your uncoated paint. Now, if you're saying, well, if it's the same maintenance, why do I need a coating? Right. Well, you need the coating for a number of things. First of all, chemical resistance. No wax will resist chemicals like a coating can, or no sealant for that matter. The other thing is the coating gives you a layer of protection that none of the other products can give you. And that protection, like we mentioned, is chemical resistance, but also the bird balm, the bug etchings, the I forgot to wash it for the last 3 weeks. That is where the coating really comes into its own, saying, okay, I abused it a little bit. It's gonna bounce back. And that bouncing back may require a decontamination once in a while. And that's normal. But you're not going to be decontaminating a coated car as often as you are a non-coated car. And for wax, I don't care what wax you're using, after 3 months, you need to reapply it, which means washing, decontaminating, and then waxing.
I want to ask you a hypothetical question. Let's say you ceramic coat a vehicle and then it just sits in the driveway for years and never gets washed, or it gets driven, but it never gets garaged. The other
Yeah.
vehicle, similar living situation, right? It's always outside, gets driven, but it's never waxed, coated, or anything.
Right.
Obviously, the coated car is still going to see a lot of abuse. Like, it's not going to look pretty after, I don't know, a few years. What's the difference there, though?
The paint will last longer, so you're not going to get delamination of the paint. You're not going to get clear coat failure on the coated vehicle. You will on the uncoated vehicle. The contamination won't have built up as much on the coated vehicle as it did on the non-coated vehicle. So long term, there is protection there. Now, after years of non-maintenance, I won't say abuse, but years of non-maintenance, is the coating still there? Yes. Is it still beading? Probably not. We look at beading as the telltale sign whether coating is there or not. Beading is great. Excuse me. But also there's sheeting. And you'll get to a point where the beading may be a little less, and that is because all the little micro abrasions on the surface, now the water doesn't have that lotus effect where it beads up. But it's still, when you hit it with a hose, it sheets away quickly. And that is still telling me that there's a coating there. How do we get that beading back? Simple. Use a drying aid. So use Envy, use Quick Beads, and they're going to restore that beading that you like. And from there, it could be a year before you need to reuse those, because they're going to last much longer on a coated vehicle, especially if you took the time to decontaminate it.
Well, we're in the middle of winter. A lot of people don't have access to a garage, so they're just trying to survive. They're the detailing enthusiasts. They know what's best for their paint, and they're just trying to get through this winter. Maybe they have a garage, maybe they don't, right? I've not had a garage for many years, and you just do the best you can till spring. If I have a garage, does it make any sense to do the full decontamination process on a coated vehicle or not coated vehicle in the middle of winter?
Yes, actually, it does. Because you're removing that layer of calcium, that layer of salt that's on the surface that they put on the roads. A deep clean in the middle of winter is a good thing if you can do it. Now, if you can't do it, don't stress about it. Just keep it washed, keep it maintained, and in the spring, go for it for the full decontamination. But if you have the capacity of doing it, why not? It's not going to damage anything. It's just going to improve everything.
So if I'm just starting out and I'm like, I don't even know which coating to choose, it seems like DIY Detail has a lot, then there's C6, and then there's every other brand under the sun. Like, where do you start? How do you choose a ceramic coating?
So ceramic coatings, first of all, there's not really any bad ceramic coatings on the market. If they were bad, they wouldn't be around any longer, because social media has made it, very democratic in the sense that if a product's not good, people will know about it. If the product is good, people will know about it, but probably a little less. That being said, when you're choosing a coating, don't choose by the number on the bottle, because I can make a wax last a lifetime, but I can make a lifetime coating fail in 30 minutes. It all comes down to maintenance and how you maintain your vehicle. So with that being said, choose the coating on the characteristics that you like. So in our case, we have our 3-year graphene-based ceramic coating. That 3-year coating has graphene in it. The reason it has that reduced graphene oxide is to help reduce the incidence of water spots. It's not going to help prevent them. It's going to help reduce the chance of water spotting. But after a certain amount of time, the reduced graphene oxide breaks down through fracturing, which is the hot and cold cycles that the paint goes through. So that's why we call it our 3-year coating. The coating itself, the beading, the sheeting, can last much longer than that if it's well maintained. But the characteristic you paid for, which is the increased water spot resistance, that after 3 years is gone. That's why we call it a 3-year coating. Now, our 5-year coating is the one that offers you the most amount of gloss. And again, through abrasion, through time, that gloss is going to slowly fade away. That's why we say it's a 5-year coating. After 5 years, if you maintained it properly, it's still going to be glossy. It's still going to be shiny. It's still going to be sheeting like day one. But if you just put it on your car and then treat it like any other car on the market, which means most people don't hand wash their cars and most people take them through a car wash once in a while. If you're going to do that, that extra gloss that you got after 4 or 5 years is not going to be there anymore. And then our 8-year ceramic coating is the one that gives you the best longevity, the best fighting chance against abuse. So it's the one that is going to stand up to the car wash just a little bit better. It's going to stand up to, I didn't wash it as often as I should have, even better. So that's why it's there.
We also have C6 Hydro Light, Ivan.
Yeah. So C6 Hydro Light is sort of the culmination of the industry in the sense of what it can do for you. It adds everything that we have in the 5-year and the 8-year and adds to it using refined detonated nanodiamonds. They provide a lot more resistance against fracturing, resistance against water spotting, and even more gloss, slickness, and hydrophobics.
We actually have an entire podcast where we go through in greater detail how to choose a ceramic coating. That might be the place folks want to land next, and if so, they can find that video right here.